Hi, I'm Guyton. I'm a senior at Moline High School. There's an issue facing our generation that we need to talk about. Did you know our generation may be the first to have a shorter lifespan than our parents? 1 out of every 3 kids in this country is considered obese. They're not spending enough time getting exercise. They eat too much junk food and sit in front of computers and video games way too long. Here are some facts we got from the Centers for Disease Control. The number of obese children has tripled since 1980. More than 9 million kids are considered extremely overweight. Another 15% are at risk of being overweight. Obesity is also starting at a much younger age. In the past 30 years, the problem has doubled in kids from 2 to 5 years old. Your Game, Your Way spoke with local pediatric cardiologist Dr. Vicki Peevage.
We do know that the fatty streak, which is the precursor to atherosclerosis, begins at age 10, 12. And that's the time where it's reversible. That fatty streak leads to hardening of the arteries, but at the first decade of life it's reversible. Once we get into the late teens and the atherosclerotic plaque is laid down, it's not reversible despite the dose of Lipitor or exercise we prescribe.
According to Dr. Peevage, there are numerous reasons kids today are overweight. We already mentioned lack of exercise and too much junk food. She has a couple of other thoughts.
I think it's multifactorial. I think our lifestyles are very different now than they were perhaps when we were growing up. I think the family unit that sat down at 5 o'clock to eat dinner probably does not exist. I think the food establishment does a great job of bombarding us with advertisements, with foods loaded with fat and sugar and salt, and they probably have the right combinations that make those items very enticing.
A little bit of exercise and using common sense when ordering your meals can go a long way in battling obesity. If you are eating out, check the nutritional value before ordering. Drink water instead of soda. Then get up and get moving.
The forbidden diet never works. We're always going to be tempted with foods, and I think we just need to train ourselves to eat in moderation.
If we don't do something now, we'll be the first generation in history to live a shorter life than our parents.
We know there's an 80% chance of becoming an obese adult if you're an obese teenager. And we're also seeing earlier heart attacks and strokes in their 20s and 30s versus the 50s and 60s. And that's very scary.
Still not convinced we need to change our lifestyles and set a good example for kids younger than us? Listen to this.
I saw a kiddo today in Iowa City, an 8-year-old from Ottumwa with the LDL, that's the bad cholesterol, of 269. It should be under 110. She's 8. She had an elevated BMI, close to 28, and for her, under 22 would be normal. But I'm talking to this 8-year-old who might be on Lipitor, and Mom has tears coming down her eyes. But she said, you know what, it's summer, we stop for ice cream every night after softball practice, and it's easier to do maybe a fast food, and she's gained 25 pounds a year for the last 3 years.
Look, we all like our iPod, a video game or two, and just hanging out with our friends. That's okay as long as you get your blood pumping and do something good for your health. You'll be glad you did. I'm Guyton.